Hello, 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 everybody. Hello. It is Talk Tuesday. Talk Tuesday. Talk Tuesday. Come on in. Come on in. You know what I always say. Come on in. Let me know that you are here. Say hello. I hope you all had a good day or you're having a good evening or good night, wherever you may be in this world. I know people watch from all over. And so I just want to thank you all for coming in and supporting Talk Tuesday as usual. So I always say this, all of my guests are special to me, but tonight is going to be a very, very special interview tonight. Um, I can say a lot about this person, but I want to wait until she comes on so we can have fun with the conversation. I'm so, so mighty glad that she said yes. So again, come on in, join Talk Tuesday. Again, share this Talk Tuesday with your friends and family. Talk Tuesday is a laid back. It's laid back. It's a laid back show. It's a conversation. Talk Tuesday is conversation of inspiration, motivation, and empowerment. And so we have all sorts of people on Talk Tuesday. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're an author, if you want to share your journey, your testimony, listen, you're welcome on Talk Tuesday, and we're mighty, mighty glad to have you here. So again, hello and welcome to Talk Tuesday. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. Again, comment. Let me know that you are here. We've checked everything. I've checked everything with my guests, and we are ready. So again, come on in. Come on in to Talk Tuesday. Always say I want to thank God for giving me the vision of Talk Tuesday. It is season 6. It's been 6 years for Talk Tuesday. And so, I'm always blessed. And I thank God. Hey, Maurice, how are you? I thank God for, again, giving me the vision. Also just choosing the people to ask to come on Talk Tuesday. And so it's definitely been a blessing. So we're looking to do some new things with Talk Tuesday and have some family members that want to help me just catapult it up to the next level with Talk Tuesday. So I'm excited about that as well. And so listen, Talk Tuesday, our show. And so I'm not going to prolong you long. I want to bring my guest on because, again, I want to catch up with this special guest and you'll understand why. And so, I'm not even going to say her name. I want her to introduce herself. And so we thank her guests as well for coming on Talk Tuesday. I do want to make note we are on YouTube, but there may be some technical issues with YouTube tonight, not on my end. But I did get a notice that there may be some issues with Talk Tuesday tonight. And so, but we are on Talk Tuesday. So if you're on Talk Tuesday, if you're on YouTube, hey. So let me bring my guest on.
All right, good evening.
Hello, hello,
Good
hello, Shamara.
evening.
Oh my gosh.
Good
Man, I
evening.
feel like it's been years, right?
It's like a reunion, don't it?
I know. Oh my gosh. Look, I feel like I'm so nervous right now.
Don't be nervous.
But
Hello.
as we said before, it's just going to be a conversation, and we've invited lots of people to come on tonight. So thank you for the invitation for coming on and talking to us and talking to our viewers. And
Thank you.
so I want you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Shamara. I am born and raised here in Baltimore City. Been here all of my life. I am a licensed social worker and therapist, currently practicing in Baltimore City, and I
Mhm.
work for a mental health clinic. And so I'm doing therapy each and every day.
Mhm.
But I'm also taking my work outside of the office as well. I'm very involved in the community
Mhm.
and doing community events and that kind of thing. And so
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
figuring this life thing out. I'm in my 30s now.
Ah,
You knew me when I was a young
yes.
thing, right? So just figuring life out
Yeah, this
and
thing that we call life, right?
yeah.
So I want people to know, and some people, Erling is on here, but how Shamara and I first met was through my company, my modeling company, J and Company Christian Modeling. And like Shamara said, like she was much younger back then. But J and Company, it's not a, it wasn't a modeling agency, it was a modeling company. And our motto was we build, train, and develop from the inside out. So we taught you about modeling, how to model, the aspects of the modeling world. But our first priority was building your self-esteem. What is just a few things you remember about J and Company?
The motto has always stuck with me, and
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe that is what was happening at J and Company. It
Mm-hmm.
was more than just a modeling company. She
Right.
was a modeling company. It was mentorship, and it was a family. It was
Mm-hmm.
community. All of the things, and one of the things that really helped me with my self esteem during that time was the diversity of the
Yeah.
models. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. You know, when you're growing up and you think about models, you think of tall, slim,
Yeah.
just like a very set in stone type of image. But at
Mm-hmm.
company, it was just any and everything, you know, tall, short, thick,
Yes.
slim, men, woman, young, older. We had it
Yeah.
all. And so it made you feel like a family. It was the first
Yeah.
representation
Yeah.
of what family was like. And even outside of the things that you taught us, we would have like our get togethers and all of that.
Yeah.
It was a community. It really was.
Yeah. It was special. You know, God gave me the vision of Jay and Company where like all are welcome. Like we had the diversity, we had family, we had that connection, we had that communication. And I think that's what kept us close. You know, if we get together now, oh my gosh, it would be crazy.
It
But
would be like we never left though. You know what I
I
mean?
know,
It would just
right?
be, that's what how family is. We would just be right back in the swing of things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, you know, I watched you on social media, especially with your different events, and God was like, talk to her. Let's see what's going on. I wanted to catch up with you, see what you've been up to. I mean, again, it's been years, you know, since J and Company, but I always say, you know, we taught you the runway of life,
It's,
right? And so that was the blessing as well. Now, I want to kind of get into like in high school. What high school did you attend?
I went to Western High School, the all girls
Western.
school.
Now, back in high school, I know you in your field now, but back in high school, did you have a vision of what you wanted to do? I know in high school, even back in high school, my time, like we were just trying to figure out, you know, we were growing, we were maturing, you know, we was just trying to figure out some things. But did you have a vision back then, of where you wanted to head in life?
So I would say that I knew my passion. As
Okay.
far as a vision, no.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in high school, I was in the teacher academy. I always knew that I wanted to help, but I
Okay.
didn't know the path that I wanted to take. Like I've always been the go-to friend, the friend that everybody
Mm,
came to for advice. People always valued what I had to say. And so my thought process was to help the youth because
mm,
be a mentor. I could teach them some things. And so I always wanted to help the younger generation. And Western at that time had the Teachers Academy where you would come in the ninth grade and you would stay in that course until you
ah,
graduate in the 12th grade.
mm-hmm.
So I did that and I thought that I was going to be a teacher. Then I graduated from high school and
Yeah.
I thought that I was going to go into mortuary
Oh
science.
my gosh.
Yes, I thought I was going to go into psychology
Mm,
because again, I knew what my passion was. I had to help, I had to be there for people, but I just didn't know which way I wanted to take it. And one
mm-hmm.
day, my mother actually said, "You should look into social work." And I
Mm,
okay, and I looked into social work, and I was like, "Absolutely, this is that."
yeah. This
Because even
this is it.
my mother had me involved in volunteering, whether it
Uh,
was at church and we doing stuff there, or she would have me up Morgan with her, and I'm all in everybody office
uh,
helping them or whatever they need and that kind of thing. And so I've always been a person of service.
okay, okay. Okay. Now, did that help you as far as picking your career going to college? And what college did you attend?
I went to Morgan State University.
Morgan State, the Great Bears.
Graduated twice from there. So
Oh wow, which degree?
I graduated the first time in 2019 and then again in 2024 with my master's in social work.
Okay, come on now. That's good. Sharon said, and love the things that you taught the girls, which is awesome. I think oftentimes that's missing. Look, I forgot
Um,
last name change. So
yes, Mrs. Pleasant.
yes. So I think oftentimes that's what we're missing now, those mentorship programs, and which, they're here now, but back then, which I thought is wonderful, where you started at an early age, and that would help you, with your career, your future career. And so you said you attended Morgan State
Mhm.
and social, that was your major there?
Social work, yes.
Social work. Okay, good, good. Now, tell us about your vision during the college years, with self-empowerment in some way. How
Yeah.
did you kind of get into that?
Yeah, so like I said, before I actually went to Morgan as a student, my mother
Mm-hmm.
worked there for 15 years,
Mm,
15 plus. And so before I actually went to the college and attended the college, I was already in that community because she would have me up there with her volunteering
mm-hmm.
and that kind of thing. And so when I actually attended, I'm gonna be honest, I went
Mm-hmm.
to class and I went home. I was not involved in a lot.
Wow.
And that's something that I actually regret because I do wish that I was
Really?
involved on campus life as a student. I was very involved in like the staff and the faculty
Mm-hmm.
departments, but as a student, I wasn't very involved on campus. I really didn't get involved until now. As an
Mm,
alumni, I'm involved, but during that time, I wasn't. But outside of college, so still
yeah.
experience, I was definitely still serving. I was in Baltimore used to have this program called the Public Allies Program.
Mm,
So it was through Baltimore Core, and they went. It was like you would get a stipend. It was a fellowship, so you would 10 months. You would get paid like $400 for the entire month, but they would place you at different places around the city, and so
mm-hmm.
I was working as a community outreach organizer for this nonprofit called Central Baltimore Partnership. And
Mm-hmm.
that's really how I got started in doing like the community work. So while
Yeah.
I was in college, even though I wasn't involved on at Morgan in
Yeah.
life, I was still doing stuff outside of that.
Yeah. Well, now, what is some, like you just said, you was not involved in the things per se at Morgan.
Mm.
What are some of the things that you think you would wanted to do?
They had not had, still have. It was
Mm-hmm.
this organization called NCNW. And it's like the National Council for Negro Women or
Okay.
that, and they were very, very involved, very dignified women of quality
Mm-hmm.
around campus, doing things of service and sisterhood. Mind you, I went to Western, right? And so a
Uh-huh.
sisterhood was embedded in me.
Yeah.
Western was built on sisterhood. So I always wanted to be a part of like an all women organization.
Yeah.
That mentorship that was also embedded in me because that's
Yeah.
the kind of things I started early. So I do wish that I was like a part of some type of organization or even SGA, like the Student Government
Uh-huh.
Association, something that's making an impact
Mm.
around the campus. I wish
You
I
know,
would have
but
involved.
as you say, it's never too late. Of course, like you say, you're involved with it now. Now, and I know, and we was talking just a little bit backstage, how Baltimore is so perceived with too many, negative things. And we were talking how people, they want to leave Baltimore and, but are there any personal experiences in your path that you said, I'm going to make a difference here in Baltimore? Because again, we were talking backstage and it was like, people want to move away, but what about where you came from, giving back to where you came from? What are your thoughts about that? Leaving Baltimore because it is, because of that.
Yeah, I think that my experience here in Baltimore was a very unique experience
Mm,
because I was involved in things so young. I
yeah.
was able to just get what Baltimore really has to
Mm-hmm.
offer. So I'll take it all the way back to as a child in the after school program and summer
Mm-hmm.
camp program that I was
Mm-hmm.
involved in called the PAL Center. We don't have
Yes.
anymore, right?
Yeah.
So I went to PAL. After school, I was going to PAL. My summers, I was spending at
Mm.
PAL. When I got old enough to work at 14 and I could do youth works, I was working at PAL.
Uh-huh.
So having that experience and then having the volunteer experiences at church and at Morgan and
Mm-hmm.
other things, going through your company, the modeling company, J and
Yeah.
Company, like those experiences are the ones that really shaped me to love the city that I
Yeah.
from.
Yeah.
And I absolutely can understand why individuals want to move away, right? Everybody
Mm-hmm.
has their own story and their own reasonings for that.
Yeah.
To me, I was fortunate enough had the luxury of seeing the other side to Baltimore, the rec centers, the program,
Yeah. Yeah.
the community of it all. And then a few years back, I was working for Baltimore City. So I've had the opportunity to work for Baltimore. I was
Mm-hmm.
a councilman, the councilman of the 12th district at that time, as
Mm.
constituent services director. So that really opened my eyes to
Mm-hmm.
a different a part of Baltimore. It's one thing growing up in the city, but when you work for the city and you realize
Yeah.
how many resources they have to offer, how many programs are really out here, how many entrepreneurs and business
Yes. Yes.
people who are boots on the ground really doing the work. You're like, wow, there's
Yeah.
a lot that's happening here. You
Yeah.
don't know about it.
Right. And I think, all those things that you had available, especially at a young age during your teenage years, it kind of grounded you and
Absolutely.
kind of really kept you focused, and then working for Baltimore City, you got to see, the other side. You got to see the good, the bad, the indifferent. And so what do you think? Because now we don't have those things. We don't have the power center. They're closing Rex. What is it? Do you feel as though that they absolutely need to bring that back? And what else? What else do we need? Because you've been in the trenches with, Baltimore.
Absolutely need to bring it back. I am a big
Yeah.
fan, a big advocate for youth programming.
Yes.
That was actually one of my research topics in college.
Mm.
The benefits and the effects of youth programming, and how when you don't have those things, you don't
Yeah.
have that out of school time programming, how it affects the youth and their
Mm-hmm.
behavior and their
Mm-hmm.
cognitive development and all of that.
Yeah.
So I'm absolutely in favor of bringing back PAL centers. Why PAL centers specifically?
Yeah.
Because PAL stands for Police Athletic League. So the
Okay.
PAL centers were built on the alliance between police and the community and
Mm-hmm.
on sports. And so with that, like we just had a different perspective of law enforcement in general because we
Yeah.
grew up with them. When you
Mm-hmm.
go to the PAL centers, the police would be there. We would do stuff. They would take us on trips. They would help us
Yeah.
with our homework. And where I was at Good Now PAL Center. The police officers would come up to your school if you were acting up. They
Mm-hmm.
tell your mothers, don't worry about it. I
I
got
got it.
her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and so they were involved and they really had a hand in helping us grow up. When
Yeah.
we don't have those kind of organizations and institutions, there becomes a barrier in the community.
Yeah.
And what you see is what you perceive as truth. And
Yeah.
that's not the whole side of it. But when that's what
Yeah.
you see, and so um,
Yeah.
going back to the vision, I have always wanted to be like a program director at a recreation
Uh,
or something like that. And I do see that our mayor and other Baltimore City vigilantes are trying to bring
trying. Yeah.
things
Yeah.
back, but it's absolutely needed.
Yeah, it's neat. I saw something disturbing last week where they have these, and a friend of mine that I work with, and she's like, Gerald, did you hear about? I'm like, and she showed me a video of they having these meetups, but it's a bunch of teenagers. And I was asking her, I say, well, when they meet up, what do they do? And this. like absolutely nothing. And it's so many of our youth and our teens, and we wonder what can we do, to help these youth of our city, and not just our city, abroad, not just Baltimore, other cities as well. It's the same thing as well, and so when we talk about back in my day, we had like Camp Concern, where you go there, after school during the summertime. They had different activities for us. Tell me, or in your opinion, um, why did those things like disappear? Why did they just go away? Ah, okay,
Funding. I can't even say lack of funding because
okay,
again, working for Baltimore City, it's a lot of funding out there, but it's a
yeah,
lot of things that go into that. And unfortunately, when the city and not just Baltimore City, just in
yeah,
general, when they going for budget cuts and all of that kind of stuff like that, they usually start with those kind of things, what they call
yeah.
extra, even though it's really essential, is not extracurricular, it's really essential.
Okay.
But when it's not looked at like that, that's one of the first things that
Mm-hmm.
get cut, unfortunately. And so I I would like to see more partnership in the schools. And so
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times, so Pal was free. So a lot
Mm-hmm.
of programs that are right now, they're doing great work, but they're not free. And honestly,
Mm.
it's hard if you're not getting grants or you're not getting fiscal sponsorships and all of that kind of stuff. A lot of these people are doing these programs out of their own pocket, and
Mm.
so
Yeah.
so they are charging for the kids to come in for the week or for the summer and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have on the other end parents who may can't afford that.
Afford it. I was about to say that, certain
Mhm.
families can't afford these programs that they have. And like you said, the money is out there. We just gotta, research more, find out where and get involved. And not just, the youth get involved, like the parents get involved as well. That
So
was a
oh, I apologize.
no, no, go ahead.
Where chosen to be more came into play in general. When I was working for the city, I was seeing so many resources and things that are out there giving away money. I mean,
Mm,
community fairs, they having community baby showers for newborn, for
mm.
new parents and everything. Like, I mean, just giving stuff away. And not just the food pantries where you get in the off-brand canned stuff. I mean, good food
Good
pantries
food, yeah.
giving away meats and all of this kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So I started chosen to be more page on
Mm.
Instagram to reach my audience and other people on Instagram so that I could share the resources. That's
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's the most important thing too, because a lot of times we don't know that it's out there. We don't know, and someone like you and your organization, can give those resources, because we don't know. We often don't know where to look, and we want to know, is there, first thing we ask, is there a cost, because oftentimes they can't afford it, but there's plenty of, I'm sure, and maybe you can attest to, that there's free resources or organizations that can help, our communities out there. I just want to say that I'm so proud of you, for just, being that, as I call it, a difference maker, right? We need more people. I'm saying it like I'm very, very old, but more people, your age, because we can relate to you. We can relate to that younger generation, and perhaps you are that one that can reach, you can reach that generation. Um, I want to talk about, and I think you just talked about a little bit, like your organization. Let's kind of talk about that. Where did it come from? Where did the conception come from? Where did it come from? What was your inspiration behind it?
Yeah, so as I just said, chosen to be more really started when I was working for the city. And I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to get the word out on the resources and the opportunities that are happening here in the city and letting people know what's going on. And then from there, it just kind of took a following on its own.
Mm-hmm.
I am who I am in all spaces of my life. So I love hosting. Um,
Yeah.
events with my family and friends, whether it was game nights, whether it was my
Mm-hmm.
birthday or something like that. So a few years back, I was supposed to have a brunch for my birthday, and
Mm-hmm.
I wanted it to be purposeful. One thing about me, I
Mm.
like the event, but we gotta have a purpose
Yeah,
behind.
yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted to do a birthday brunch at my aunt's house, but this was when COVID was going on. And so
Mm.
she was like, this is not the time for that right now. I'm not trying to have all those people in my house, right? And so she was like, if you wait until the spring, you can
Mm-hmm.
still have it and we can do it outside in the yard. And so I was like, okay, well, my birthday is in March. She was saying to wait until like May. I'm like, that's fine, but it wouldn't be for my birthday. So
Okay.
I'll still have a purposeful brunch, but it won't
Yeah.
be for my birthday. So that's
Mm-hmm.
where the affirmation affair came from.
Mm.
Supposed to have something for my birthday. It didn't work out. I wound up just pushing it back until when it was warmer out, and I sold tickets. I sold tickets to it. We did activities, and I didn't
Yeah.
DJ at that time. I was playing a playlist of music. Of course, we had food, and I did have decorations and that kind of thing. But that was really the birth of
Ah.
something that I thought was just supposed to be a one time coming together, a brunch,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of thing. It kind of took off.
Another.
That and I didn't like promote it or anything because again, this was just for my close family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
But afterwards, they told me like you have to keep
You
doing
have to do it.
it.
Well now you at the affirmation affair 3.
Yes, yes, yes. And it's getting bigger and
And
bigger.
bigger, yeah.
This year, I'm really, really excited. It's coming up, guys. Sunday,
Yes, and
April
I
19th.
actually here we go.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Sunday, April 19th at Five Star Events Hall. This is the third edition of the Affirmation Affair. Now, my first Affirmation Affair 4 years ago was $35, right? Tickets are a little bit higher than that, but you can find it on Eventbrite. We are at $65 now. I'm actually running a sale this week. So you can find the Affirmation Affair on Eventbrite, Chosen to
Mm-hmm.
Be More on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
Shamara Thomas on Facebook, any of my social media handles, you can find the information. So this
Um,
year, I'm going to go a little bit different. I just want to say
okay.
this year, I'm actually having a panel discussion and I have two
Oh,
co-hosts, and I purposely wanted to have men involved this year because
absolutely.
when you're in these self help workshops and
Yes.
mental health spaces, it's always a lot of women, and that's beautiful, right? But we need to
Yes.
start reaching out men and bridging that gap in the community, especially in my generation. Um,
Yes.
there's a lot of gender wars going on. A lot of men are not. They just don't feel safe enough to be in those type of spaces, or they just genuinely think in their mind that that's for women. And so I purposely
Mm-hmm.
wanted to have two male co-hosts to kind of bridge that gap and just give a different perspective.
Yeah. Now I don't want you to tell it all, but what are some other things that does happen at the affirmation affair? Because
Sure.
one of your videos, I was like, oh, they doing the line dance. What they
Yes. So that is the unique thing about my events, right? Although they're purposeful and we're gonna have some real conversations, and
Yes.
I'm gonna have you writing and we doing because it's a workshop, right? So we're doing
Ah,
different activities, but we're also gonna have a good time. And so I will have a DJ there because you're right.
yes,
We
yes.
dancing, we having a good time. It's a chance for you to network, meet other people. I don't
Mm-hmm.
find seats because I just want you to come in and sit down.
Yeah.
Whoever you sit next to is who you sit
That's who
next
you
to.
said. Yes.
Know somebody new. We do a lot of interactive activities. So it's not
Yeah.
a typical workshop where you're coming, I'm facilitating the whole time and I'm just talking to you. It's a
Yeah.
very interactive space where we're
Yeah.
going to have a good time too. And we're going to have some food. We can't do anything without food.
Listen, you gotta have some food now for
Gotta have
these
some
people.
food. We have a photographer, videographer,
Okay,
that kind of
okay.
thing.
Yeah, I've seen some pictures of, your previous events but most important, look like, of course, having fun. And then, I see people doing activities at the table. And so listen, guys, this is Shamar's Instagram.
Thank you.
So listen, screenshot it, do what you gotta do, okay? But go on there And go on here, and you can she has a link to the event. Check it out. I believe support is very, very important. That's one thing I say about back in the day with Jay and Company. The parents showed up, and our shows were sold out, and standing room only, the kids show. And so I encourage you to go on her Instagram. All of y'all, I know y'all on, so I know everybody not on social media, but the majority of y'all are. So go on there and check it out. Read up a little bit about what's going on with Chosen to Be More. I just, I'm just so proud. I see other J and Company models and what they doing. Again, it's been years, since J and Company, but so proud of you ladies and gentlemen. Again, we just striving and trying to get through this thing, called life. And
Right.
so,
That's what the affirmation affair is about, getting
okay.
tools in real time, right? Not
Yeah,
everybody is going to go sit down and talk to a therapist and
yeah,
all that kind of stuff. And honestly, not everybody is going to church either. A lot of people have their faith and their relationship with God, but a lot of
yes.
people are not coming to the institutions and the organizations that are set up for that. So we got to get out there and reach the people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you keep saying that it's been years since Jay and Company, but I don't think you've realized the impact that you have had on all
Mhm.
the models that have come through that company.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I just want to take this time to give you your
Oh,
flowers for everything
oh, thank you.
you've done over the years,
Yeah,
foundation that you have laid for all of us. And I am definitely a better woman now because
yeah. Okay, girl.
I just had to let you know. I just had to say
Oh, and I do appreciate that. I thank God for giving me the vision of J and Company. Again, we're welcome. But we Shamar, we turned into family.
it. Hmm.
And so that was important to me. We supported each other, whether you had an event here or showed up at school here. A few of them went to, they went to high school, they joined the modeling company or team there, just going to support, but also teaching them the runway of life.
Absolutely.
We taught about modeling, and but we always had, you remember Miss Deborah, she used to come and just teach us about our self-esteem and who we are and who we can become. We were young then, yes, but at the same time she was just instilling in us. And I have to give it back to you and how you are giving back. Someone gave back to you. Your mom's on here, and but you're giving back as well. What do we do with our gifts and talents that God has blessed us with? You don't keep it to yourself.
Right.
You get out there and you make a difference. What has been important to you, like on your journey? I mean,
Community.
on this journey now.
Yeah. Um, Community, but I would have to say community is second. The very first and foremost is definitely my faith and my
Okay.
relationship with God.
Yes.
That is most important to me because that is really what grounds me and what drives me. And
Yes.
I want to be a living testament that good people still exist. Um,
Absolutely.
and God will give you what you need to carry out
Yeah.
your purpose and your calling. And so that's number one. Secondly, community. I am big on love, I'm big
Mm.
on togetherness, I'm big on relationships,
Mm-hmm.
family. Those are the kind of institutions that grounded me. And
Yes.
so I'm just trying to do my part in making even a stranger feel that because I
Yeah.
not everybody grew up with that solid foundation
Yeah.
of family and community. So I know that I'm very blessed and very privileged in that way. So
Yeah.
I try to create those spaces for any and everybody. And so
Mm-hmm.
that is definitely something that drives me and fuels
Yeah.
my passion and keeps me going.
Yeah, absolutely. It is true that without God we are nothing, but with him all things are possible, and I think, and I haven't been around you at all, but I know, when you walk in a room, your light shines. You don't have to say a word, you know what I mean? It's just your mission and your purpose, your light shines, and you have to allow that to have other people shine too. It don't have to be I'm this, I'm that, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be that, but if we can, get in somebody's, because a lot of us are dealing with low self-esteem. We don't know what we want to do. We don't know where we want to be, but the affirmation affair is the place to be.
Just and the affirmation affair is just what's coming up, right? But in
Yeah.
May, I'll also be doing my fourth year of the Give Me My Flowers community
Oh,
cookout, and that's
wow.
a free event. So
Tell me
I
about
don't
that a little bit.
yeah, I don't always just do like the ticketed event of the affirmation affair. And so,
Okay.
Give Me My Flowers is a community event that I do with a partner. His name is Vaughn. Shout out to Vaughn.
Mm-hmm.
We curated this 4 years ago. Where he was doing his own thing in the community, I was doing my own thing. My brother actually introduced us to each other, and one day we connected over the phone and was just chopping it up. We stayed on the phone for like an hour or two
Mm-hmm.
talking about Baltimore and community and our
Yeah.
dreams and all of those kind of things. So we gotta collab on something, like we gotta do something. And so he brought the idea to me of like a Give Me My Flowers event. I'm like, okay, this sounds like something
Ah,
I would be interested in. And he like, you want to partner on it? Sure. And after that, it's just been that. We're not a nonprofit or
okay.
anything. We don't have no type of fiscal sponsorship. This is a event that
Mm,
we do out of our own pocket,
yes.
praying that that won't always be the case, but God has blessed us and we're on year
Yeah.
number 4. We do
Oh,
get
wow.
donations, and so I'm happy about that. But not only is it a community cookout, it's also a pop-up shop. And so we
Ah.
highlight small Black-owned businesses.
Mm-hmm.
We have about 12 to 14 vendors where they could come out to the park during the cookout and set up and sell their items, promote
Yeah.
business and things like that. And so we promote it as it's where cookout meets family reunion meets
Okay.
shop. And so it's a good time. And
That's
we also partner with a Black owned florist every year, and we give away live flowers.
flowers. Wow. That's, and you know how oftentimes we do have to invest. We have to invest ourselves, and oftentimes we do come out of our pocket, but you see how God blesses. I mean, this is year 4,
Yes.
and God he'll open the doors. He will open those
I
doors
believe,
because
believe
it's needed, it's necessary. And again, you talked about it before, community, bringing that community back. And so that's awesome. We'll have to, if you have a flyer coming up soon, let me know. I'll get it posted. We'll talk about it on Talk Tuesday. And so this is awesome. Wow. This is really, really awesome, man.
And that's what I mean. I am making my mark in a way not to be seen, in a way
Okay.
that is impactful.
Mm-hmm.
And like we were talking about off stage, how just a lot of people want to leave Baltimore, and I understand that, but I'm more committed to being the change that I want
Uh,
to be. And
yeah, yeah,
linking up with other change makers and people that's
yeah.
making a difference. That's really how you do it. You link up with other people who are moving and shaking. Like I'm also a part of this organization called the Family Inc. And the
Mm,
Family Inc. is like a conglomerate of business owners,
mm,
entrepreneurs, community advocates, philanthropists, graphic designers,
mm.
all kind of people, right? Who work together and kind of like lean on each other for
Yeah.
and we support each other's events and we hold each other up and we teach each other things and what you need at your event. Okay, what you need
Yeah.
that's the kind of community that we really
Yeah, but that's, I think that's what's missing as well. I always say we don't have to put anybody lights out in order for ours to shine.
that's right.
Because, again, it's about that connection and hooking up with that person and that, because you don't know with those resources from that person, what you would need from them and what they would need from you as well. I always say, and this has been my motto, Shamar, for some years now, and I do speak. I go out and speak, and I speak about my testimony. And it was a testimony that I was once afraid of, I was ashamed of, but God said, tell it, for your healing, but also someone else needs to hear it as well. But always say, and I say this to you, that we are different to make a difference. What makes you different? And is it my testimony? Yes. And so what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with your services? What are you going to do with your expertise, Shamar? That means you're going to make a difference for somebody. You know, if you can reach that one person, if you can reach that one community, because it is like each one reach one. So
Yeah,
if you can reach this community, you can reach the next community. If you can connect with this person, you can connect with the next person because we all need each other.
we all need each other, and it's enough room for all of our purposes.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah,
It is. It's enough for me, definitely, definitely. And we listen more. Come on in.
come on
Because
in, help
yeah.
us, please.
Yes. We have a comment. Community is the cure. Such a good convo, much needed. Thank you so much. We thank you all for coming in. I'm just talking to this has been one of my J and Company models. I always say from back in the day. And any J and Company models on here, hello. Um, but I wanted to catch up. I've been seeing her, shaking and baking and making some things happen. And so I wanted to catch up. I wanted to bring her on Talk Tuesday so we can talk about it. It's been a great, great conversation tonight. If anybody has any questions for Shamar, please go ahead and ask. And so I love this. Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. But I just wanted to see what she was up to.
A
you
lot.
know,
It's
yeah,
a lot.
a
And
lot,
sometimes,
right?
sometimes I have to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm tired of being busy. I'm tired of always having something to do. It's like the
yeah,
work never ends, right?
yeah.
But like you said, when you are different, when you are chosen, when
Mm-hmm.
you are doing what you love, it's a
Yeah.
fulfilling work. And
Yeah.
I just got used to the fact that I'm going to be tired because there's more
Mhm.
work to be done, and I
Mhm.
don't have the luxury of stopping because it's
Mhm.
needed. You know, it's
Yeah.
so
But that's your persistent too. And when you're persistent, you got to be consistent as well. And I know that's hard. And oftentimes too, we do have to find that balance because we don't want to per se wear ourselves out. But you do it with so much zeal and motivation, and empowerment. Someone did ask, what's next for you, Shamar? What's next?
no, I'm just trying to get through the affirmation affair, and then I got the Give Me My Flowers cookout coming up on May 24th. It's always Memorial Day weekend.
uh,
After that, hopefully, I'll be finding some rest and respite on vacation or something like that. Because I'm tired. I've been working. I've been in grind mode, but
Yeah, but you got to refill. But with that comes rest as well. So we got to find that again. It's your passion. It's your commitment, and oftentimes it does wear you out. It can. But this it's just so much work to do.
absolutely.
We just feel like we gotta get it done. Someone says, I'm so proud of you, Butterfly. I know that's your family member.
Thank you.
Yeah, but what's something that you can leave with our viewers, that person that wants to, maybe follow this path that you're going down. What are some things that they need to be on this path? It may be a different path, but what's some things that they need for this journey? It's a journey that's, it's a hard journey, but a most fulfilling one. What's some things that they need?
Yeah. So I'll lead with what we were just saying, kind of in a joking way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Work. You cannot
Mm.
get around the work. But with the work, you also have to make sure that you are pouring back into yourself.
Uh,
You are only as good as what you are pouring into yourself, and
yeah.
pour from an empty cup.
Cup,
So
right?
as much as you want to do the work and you want to see the impact, you also have to find that balance
Mm.
so that you're getting the things that fill you and fulfill you as well.
Yeah.
But also, you can't get around the work. And so, it's
Ah.
days that you're going to be going through things or having things on you that the outside world doesn't know about, but you can't allow
Mm-hmm.
that to stop you. You just got to keep going because you got to
Mm-hmm.
keep your eye on the prize. That's what my grandfather has always
Yeah.
said, right? Find your passion, find your vision, what you want, and you keep moving towards that. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, keep God first.
Absolutely.
Him and you keep God first. I promise
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
He will take you where you need to go. You do your part,
Absolutely.
and he will do the rest. And whatever you can't do, it probably ain't for you to do anyway. So
Right.
drop that off, drop that load off, because it ain't for you to carry.
Wait a minute, you might be preaching to Aunt Gerald here. So let me look, let me open up
But
my ears.
I'm just saying. Sometimes we gotta drop some of that
Yeah.
load off. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And only carry what we were meant to carry.
Yeah.
Last thing, get out of your own way.
Uh talk about that just a few talk about that.
Fear, insecurities, self doubt, self sabotage, all of those
Mm-hmm.
things that so many of us experience. So many of us are sitting on ideas. So many of us are sitting on talents. So many of us are sitting on skills. We've been talking about doing the same thing for the past 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
We ain't done it yet, right?
Right.
So many of us allow the life things that happen on the in between to kind of just like sit us down and we stay seated. The problem is
Yeah.
we wake up, you know.
Right.
So we gotta stop getting in our own way. I
Yeah.
know it's sometimes it's life. Life be life and it's hard.
Yes, yes, right.
What's going on. I get all of that. It's happening to all of us, right?
Yes.
But you gotta get out of your own way and ask, okay, what can I do? How can I
Mm.
move forward? And when you don't have it for yourself, that's where community comes in.
Yeah, to get that help. I do want to read one of our viewers comment. I poured from an empty cup for years trying to hydrate other people
Yeah.
and left myself dehydrated. She's like, I needed to join this live tonight. Yes, thank you, Shanice, for joining in. Yes, that's what it's all about because and then let me be open and honest with you. I wanted to come on, find out what you've been up to. We talked about, different things you are, but uh, tonight's and I told you before backstage, it's a conversation. And so this conversation tonight, and I speak on Shamar, we're so mighty glad that, it's something that you needed. And like I said before, God always, he shows me who to ask.
Mhm.
I always say all are welcome, but is God decision. And so maybe it was because somebody on here tonight needed to hear it. And I got to speak for myself too. Some things that I wanted to, I needed, but I want to ask you, you've been doing this. What advice, and I'm asking for myself,
Mhm.
right? How do you help the person, Geraldine, that starts and stop and starts and stop and starts and stop?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a therapist you for a minute on Jura.
Okay.
The root of why you keep starting and stopping.
Okay.
What's keeping you inconsistent? What's
Okay.
keeping you starting and stopping? Do you got too much on your plate?
Mm.
Are you trying to go with an old passion that's not really your passion anymore? Maybe God
Oh,
calling you to something else, or,
right.
or are you got people in your way? Are you moving out of fear and insecurities, thinking about the
Mm-hmm.
what ifs and if everything could go wrong and all of
Mm-hmm.
that? You got to get to the root. You got to figure out why
Mm-hmm.
you keep starting and stopping.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I'm gonna give me something to think about when I get off this.
Mhm.
But honestly, I wanted to bring that up. Yes, you are a therapist, and many people on here tonight are just they getting what they need tonight, which is very very important. Someone said very inspiring. The conversation was much needed. As I agree with you,
I can't see the comments.
I know.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
And
Thank
then I will agree with Glenda where she says such wisdom. Yes. Because
you.
back in the day, Shamar was I want to say, with J and Company, she was just the most funniest person, kept us laughing. And so to see you grow into the woman that you are today. And I truly believe that, Glenda, wisdom, 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 and not always you feel as a therapist, yes, we needed that tonight, but also that wisdom as well. And so yeah, 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 I agree. Somebody say exactly, me too. Okay, so listen, y'all, we need a little therapy on here tonight. Yes, thank you.
And we just having a conversation. I
We
am,
just listen, we said that in the beginning backstage. It's just a conversation tonight. So we have a lot of people on tonight. Thank you so much. Someone said Shamar is a special being. I absolutely agree.
don't stop that. Thank you. I appreciate
You
it.
know, but it is true, and it says in the Bible, which is one of my favorite scriptures, that is it is Jeremiah 29:11. For he does know the plans for us, plans to prosper, not harm us, but give us a good future. And so, I always say, when I was in my mother's womb, God knew the plans. So while you was in your mama womb, Shamar, God knew the plans, and he still knows the plans that he has for us. And so we're mighty glad that he has you on the path that you're on right now. And so again, everybody, I'm gonna get me some coins together because
Get them
I
together.
do.
Corner, at paying for,
Okay.
afterpay, whatever you got to do, y'all get in the room. We're going to have some very, very good conversations, and not just conversations, but
Okay.
intentional interactions, activities. We're going to dance a little bit. It's going to be
Mm,
some music. We're going to eat. I
yeah.
promise you will walk out feeling lighter. You
Mm,
will walk out feeling inspired. You
yes.
feeling encouraged, and hopefully you walk out meeting a new person.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. And I like what you said about, when you come in, you sit here or you sit wherever you want, and it's good meeting new people.
Absolutely.
Because oftentimes, for me, I know going to different conferences and stuff is nothing like maybe conversating or sitting next to someone that's walking in your shoes. You're
Mhm.
like, oh, and
Never
then,
know. You never know who you may be sitting next to, and you never know where that person may come up again years later. A lot
okay,
of the things that I'm involved in, it was a maybe we met here and then we reconnected years later. You know
okay.
what I mean? And so that kind of thing. The affirmation affair, the two co-hosts that I have. One is my friend from high school, Xavier,
Mm,
right? I haven't spoken to him or seen him in years
mm,
for this event. The other guy, Danton, I don't know him that well, but I met him through that organization I was telling the
mm-hmm.
Inc. And so you don't know who you will come across. You don't know who you will lock in with. You don't know how your purpose and their purpose can unite and make a greater purpose. You and
Yeah,
I, you knew me since I was a little girl. I was a
yeah,
model at your company, right? I
mm-hmm.
haven't seen or talked to you in some years.
Yeah,
We're friends on Facebook, so we always keep in touch and comment on each other's
right, yeah,
thing, but we haven't had, a dialogue like this in years. And now
yeah,
I'm sitting here as a guest on your talk show.
yeah.
You just never know.
And it's like we talking woman to woman. You know what I mean?
You know, we talking woman to woman.
Yes, So I was like, Shema ain't that 10, 12-year old anymore, and so it's been a pleasure tonight.
Thank you.
I thank you all for coming on. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you,
Okay.
everybody, for coming on. Everybody that
Come on with the
come
comments. Thank
in,
you.
logged in. I love you guys. Thank you for having me on, Gerald.
Yeah.
Before we got on here, I said, "Can I call you Aunt Gerald?" Because that's what I call her, guys.
That's what they called me. They called me Aunt Jer. I never was able to have children, but you guys was, with my biological family. But y'all was my family. Y'all was the girls that I help you through life, and it feels so very very good now. I'm gonna have a few more other models on, see what they've been up to, and so.
For those, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, I thank you for coming on. I thank you all for coming in and joining us with your comments and your questions. We thank you so very, very much. Love you, girl. Thank you so much.
You too. See you
All
guys.
right. I'll talk to you in a few minutes.
Okay.
Oh man. I'm telling you, I feel emotional right now. Just kind of, those girls, they helped me more ways than they actually realized, having Jane company and teaching them and showing them. And so it feels very, very good. And we'll catch up with some more of my Jane company models. They're doing wonderful. They're doing big things. And I'll say it again publicly. I'm so very, very proud of Shamar and, her mom who brought her every Saturday, to J and Company workshop classes. Thank you so much, Sharon, for that. But it was a wonderful conversation tonight. Wonderful conversation. And as I said before, J and Company is conversation of motivation, inspiration, and empowerment. And so tonight it was that type of conversation. It was empowering. It was a person I've used to teach, and now I could call her the woman of wisdom, right? But she is just that, and so I'm so mighty glad that God gave me the vision to ask her to come on. As I always say, I thank you all for joining. Look, I said J and Company. I can't get it out my mind now. Thank you for joining Talk Tuesday. And we'll be back on either next week or the following week. We'll be back on Talk Tuesday, but you'll see a flyer to let you know what's up next for Talk Tuesday. But again, I want to say I have to give praises to God for giving me the vision of Talk Tuesday. Again, I thank you all for coming on and joining tonight. It's been awesome. It was wonderful tonight. And so I'm going to go back and talk to Shamar a little bit, get some more therapy. Ain't nothing wrong with that, y'all. I forgot to tell Shamal talk about that. Ain't nothing wrong, with going to get help and therapy. But I'm going to get some free therapy. But again, I thank you all for joining tonight, and God bless you. Have a good rest of the week. Enjoy your weekend. Okay, peace.